All right, test mic, test mic, test mic. Just trying to see if we are connected. Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I was talking to myself. It's August 5th, 2025, 9:33 in the morning. Just looking at a couple of stocks here. Specifically, of course, our SPY. So SPY is having a little bit of a pullback. Yesterday and the day before was a pullback, and then now testing the high of yesterday. We are also watching PLTR, which is very strong stock, created an opening range breakout. And let's see what Tesla's doing. See, make sure that I can hear. All right, so PLTR is now testing the VWAP. Where is the volume? All right, testing the VWAP for PLTR. So PLTR is now testing. All right, sorry for the echo. All right, so we're also watching, as I mentioned earlier, Tesla is having a pullback. It's now at 306. Pre-market high is at 311 with a pre-market low of 307. AMD will have its earnings after the market closes today. Pre-market low 177 with a pre-market high of 180. Let's look at back in SPY. SPY is just in that range. It tested the low of this candlestick, 631, which is the high of yesterday. And let's see if it's gonna respect that support. Next one is HIMS. It's down by $7.4. It is on a short selling restriction. Pre-market low is at 53 with a pre-market high of 57. There's a lot of levels right here on HIMS, so let's look for a better one. This one is a short selling restriction as well. And VTS with a float of 145 million, not a low float stock. Pre-market low 6.23 with a pre-market high of 6.96. Not a lot of movement there. JOBY up by 0.5%. Not a lot of movements as well. We'll put in our levels anyway. Pfizer is up by 4.1%. Pre-market low is at 23 with a pre-market high of 24. It created an opening range breakout. PLTR now testing the low of the day. So low of the day for PLTR is 170, and we are right there. Big rejection happened at 176. So let's zoom it out and see what 176 is. So 176 apparently is an all-time high. Let's just check it in the weekly. Yeah, all-time high, very strong, but it did encounter that strong resistance. Now we are creating here a 9 EMA play. So let's see here. So with that 9 EMA play, we can have our stop loss below the 9 EMA, and all right, just putting in the orders. Stop loss here is below that 9 EMA. We have a huge gap up, and that huge gap up created another pullback at this 9 EMA. That's why it's called a 9 EMA play. The only thing that I don't like here is look at this big wick. So that's why we're going to have a tight stop loss. 170.2 will be our stop loss. But if it gives us that confirmation that it is indeed strong, then we're just going to build up our position there, going back and forward the 5 minutes as well as the 1 minute, just to see some confirmation there. So if you want to silence the noise, you want to go to a higher time frame. For us, it's going back 1 minute, 5 minutes. So There is a position, there's an order sitting right here at the ask, which is very bullish. So just adding to that position, taking some partial. That was indeed a good move. So we already took our partial. So now average cost is 172.51. I always like to put it as well, just so I can visually see where is the place that I should be stopping out. So 51. So now it's creating a new high based from the previous candlestick. All right, looking at the bid and the ask, there's not a lot of imbalance between the bid and the ask. We are stuck in that VWAP. So that one was the bounce that we were waiting for that VWAP. 72, 80, they're pushing this one to 80s. 67, big resistance at 80. Took another partial there just to make sure that we don't turn this one into a red trade. So now we can just put in our stop loss higher than the break even. Or if we don't have any other trades, then we can just watch this one very carefully. All right, so let's dissect what is the bid and the ask doing. Bid and the ask, you have not a lot of imbalance, but the 1 minute is very strong, as well as the 5 minutes. 5 minutes, we got some buyers that step in at that level at 170. 174, looking at the bid and the ask. So we already have good enough profit for that move. Took another partial. I did not like that that was a big pullback right there. Took another partial. All right, so now let's just look at what else is moving. All right, so PLTR, we got the move in PLTR. Tesla had the move as well. We were not able to participate in this move because we were trading PLTR. PLTR did not disappoint. We have our, we were able to capture the move in PLTR. Now, let's go to the next potential move here. So what did AMD do? AMD tested the low of this candlestick from yesterday, and then it bounced from there. So that one was around 174, and then now about to retest the high of the day. PLTR is still moving. Took another partial there. And let's just trail our stop loss. So my stop loss now is above the VWAP. I only have a couple of shares left. So with PLTR, we were able to capture the move, and let's see. So that one is 10, less than 13 minutes, and it's still moving. So let's look at the bid and the ask. Bid and the ask, you have still a lot of orders sitting at the ask, so that's very bullish. I know it's counterintuitive, but the thing is, you have to imagine it that those who are wanting to sell their shares are not desperate enough, and they're willing to wait for the price to go to them. not for them to keep hitting the lower price range. So that's why once you see lots of orders sitting at the column of the ask, that's actually very bullish. And it's the other way. Once you see a lot of orders sitting at the bid, it's very bearish. Now there's a bit of a pullback there. That's a lot of volume bar here. SPY having a pullback as well. Tesla encountering a resistance, and this is about to stop us out. SPY is just flat today. Look at these movements. So what I don't like about SPY is, all right, you have the nice move at the pre-market, and then at the open, you tested the low of the pre-market, and then now you're just in the middle of your pre-market high and pre-market low. So this one is literally just doing nothing. And that's the reason why we stayed away from options trade today, because you don't want to get chopped. Now you're just in the middle. All right, so PLTR here. Look at how strong PLTR is. PLTR, I won't be surprised if this one creates a new high, wow, of the day. Took another partial there because why not? And then let's just trail our stop loss. Look at this one. About to create a new high of the day. And that new high of the day is at 176.32. So rather than looking for any other stocks, let's just see how strong they're going to push this one. All right, so the high is 176.29. 176, look at how quick those sprints are. 176.12, 15, 22. So this is going to create a new high of the day. There are some stacks of orders sitting at 176.30. Boom. 30 was filled. Having a pullback here. Let's see if they're able to maintain that level. 75.48. Of course, a lot of sellers came through as well, 76.27. But look at the volume bar. Volume bar is not a lot. So buyers can still push this higher. So this is what we call, this is an A+ setup for a 9 EMA play. 9 EMA play, while we're waiting to get step out here, we are going to be step out here. If it goes to our stop loss, 174.8. So while we're waiting for that to happen, we did get a nice profit already. And let's see here, having that nice pullback. I just need this one to stop me out as well because I do have a phone call to take. All right, so 174.79. Very close to getting stop out. 79.82. There you go. I'm out. All right, so PLTR, we traded 15 minutes and we're done with our day. So I'm looking at Tesla. Tesla is creating now a new high of the day. We could have traded this one if we were not stock trading Tesla. Give me 1 second. Let me just answer. Oh my gosh, Tesla is creating a new. Tesla creating All right, sorry about that. So PLTR had a good pullback. So let's dissect this one. How did we manage to capture that move in PLTR? So yeah, apologies for the morning. I know we had some technical issues in the morning. Mic was off and was talking to myself. So anyway, why did we pick up PLTR? PLTR is one of those very active stocks today, so our scanner was able to pick that up. Anything that comes up above 3% as well as gap down below 3%, our scanner gets to capture that, and we base it from that scanner. So PLTR, given that it has one of the biggest moves today, we were watching it constantly. So at the open, we open at around 172.01. So 172.01, around right here. At one point it pulled back, and at one point it went all the way to 176. So what happened here was, let me just get my pen. So this is what we call an A+ setup. You have a huge gap up right there. It's already screaming at you, I am strong stocks. So, bet on me that I'll be along. You ride that stock that it's just gonna rip higher. Now, you don't want to ride a stock to rip higher at the open unless you have a strategy that what we call and always discuss in our class called an opening range breakout. An opening range breakout is if you have, and that's the reason why do we keep on putting our pre-market low, pre-market high at the open? Why can't we just jump into the strongest stock that we can see? Because we always go back to the strategy. The strategy is, let me just remove some of the levels here. All right. So at the open, this is the high. At the open, this is the only thing that we can see, right? The gray zone, that is our pre-market activity. So pre-market is from in the morning, pre-market is from 4 a.m. until 9:29. So that's why we have the gray zone. Now the gray zone, the reason why our routine is always put in the pre-market level is because we have a certain strategy that goes with it. What is that? Opening range breakout, opening range breakdown. So with this, PLTR, 172.81, 168.19 is the pre-market low. At the open, we already know that if PLTR breaks this level, then it's gonna create an opening range breakout. So first 15, look at how strong it is. It created an opening range breakout. So we were not able to ride that move just because we were still finishing up our levels. Not a big deal. We always get to have, stocks give you a couple of chances. So as long as you're not having that FOMO, you just wait for your setup. So, okay, we missed the opening range breakout. Not a big deal. We wait for the next setup. And what is the next setup? So it's already clear to us that we are long biased this stock because of that opening range, because of that big gap up, right? Big gap up, it's obvious. It's up by earlier, like around 5-7%. So big gap up, we're ready. Long bias, it is an all-time high. We even switch it to the weekly just so we get to see if it's indeed an all-time high, and it is. So let's go back to the daily and let's look at the lower time frame. So lower time frame, the reason why I would like to use the 1 minute is because of the volume bar, as well as so I can have an earlier entry. So the 5 minutes, look at how it looks like at the 5 minutes. Where would my entry be here if I'm just basing it from my 5 minutes? That's why you have to have at least these 4 charts. The 4 charts that we have 1 minute, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, and the daily. So with a 1 minute, I need to get a clear entry of where is the entry that I am going to have the least risk with the highest potential for me to capture the move. So another strategy that we keep on discussing on the class, one of our favorite, is the 9 EMA. 9 EMA, what is the criteria? First, you have a big gap up. We're already long bias. And then the lower time frame, obviously, is the same as this. You have a big gap up. Now, we missed that opening range breakout. Opening range breakout happened at 172.81. So at 172.81, we could have long this one with a stop loss of just below the low of the day or the VWAP. We missed that. We were still putting in our level. Not a big deal. We waited for the 9 EMA. 9 EMA, you have a strong stock having a pullback at the 9 EMA. So this one is your 9 exponential moving average. That's why we call it a 9 EMA play. You have a pullback there. It's very critical that you have a level of where your entry and your stop loss is going to be, just because it creates a lower risk as well as a high probability trade. So the purpose of that 9 EMA is that your stop loss is below the 9 EMA and your entry is just above the previous candlestick high. So previous candlestick, this is going to be your tilt that we are now pushing higher rather than having the momentum to go down. So entry at the high of the previous candlestick, couple of cents late there, but still good risk to reward ratio. So building our position, added to the position, we are breaking that VWAP very quickly. But the reason why you just have to build a position rather than make it all in a big chunk of shares is because you're still trying to confirm where is the volume bar. The volume bar is not there yet. So that's why we're trying to be very risk adverse as well as be very careful with this trade. So adding the position, adding, and then at the sign of pop, we cover, sign of pop, we cover, and then cover, and then we were just trailing our stop. Cover, because this one, we're almost a couple of cents away from the high of the day. So there will be a lot of people who's going to be trying to cover their positions as well. So that's why we cover. And then our stop loss is just trailing it. So above the VWAP, we got stop out and we're done for the day. So we only traded PLTR, and with that 15 minutes adding with our recap, we're done for the day. So let's see if there's any other opportunity that the market is going to give us. Tesla created 312 Tesla, and then a rejection there. So let's look at 5 minutes, the 15 here. So Tesla rejection at R3. Are there any trades at Tesla right now? I don't see any, because look at the daily. The daily, we have encountered that very strong resistance at 312. Hence, at the 312, there is a pullback there. So there's no trade to take in Tesla as of moment. SPY, we did not do any options trade today just because of what the SPY is doing. SPY, look at this very small move, 632, 631. How can you make profit out of that move? You still can, but the risk is so high and we don't want to take that. We want to do easy trades and rinse and repeat, so we don't have to complicate it. Next one is AMD will have its earnings at the close today, but typically stocks that is expecting to have their earnings the same day after the market closes. Typically, it's just a range bound. So that's why I did not want to touch AMD as well. All right, so let's see if there's any other opportunities there. The same day. All right. Look at HIMS. This is a gap down and then a fill. Gap down, gap fill, 61. It is encountering a very strong resistance right here. What is this? Let's see if there's any news. Class action. There's a lawsuit. Hims and Hers Health. All right, lawsuit. So for this one, what I'm looking at here is this is a potential short. If there's a very strong resistance right here, 62, which is right now, potential for a short here. So look at that pullback. $61.78. Looking at the tape here. All right, just a small position for Hims to the short. Stop loss is the high of the day. Let's look at the 1 minute. Not a lot of volume bar when it's pushing. Expect that this is going to be tested. If it breaks that support, then we will, let's see. Very close to getting stop out here. We are in that critical level, 62.17. Rejection there. 15. All right, all out there. Okay, gave away $200. Not a big deal. This can retests this level here. Let's see. We are encountering that S3 right there. Look at the volume bar. Volume bar is dying when it's pushing. The momentum for this to go high is dying. Look at this one. So that candlestick is gonna close in the next 10 seconds. 32. Where is the volume bar here? Just small position to the short would be the lasts. High of the day is 62.47. $62.15, 11.04, 62. We're now breaking that support. $62.97, 62, acting as a support here. Interesting. If we break that 62, that's the place to add. 61.89 would be the place to add. And of course, stop loss is just the high of the day, which 60.45. Resistance there at 45. Looking at the tape, we're printing at 30, 26, 20. So big resistance happened at 47. Retest of that level will be all out. But since there's a big rejection happened at 47, let's see if that rejection is the one that will push this down. 29. Looking at the tape here, we're printing 62.13, 15. So that's how you read the tape here. 42, 48, rejection again at 47, rejection at 47. So it keeps getting rejected at 47. 32 now. '30s. It's not able to push through that 47. 37. You have the 40s. Very close to that 40s again. But look at the rejection. We're back at the 26, 25. 32. 46. 47, then rejection. We're back in 30s. Keeps getting rejected at 47. 32. 34. 'Rejection Rejection again. We're back in 27. Look at that strong rejection. Now look at the volume bar. Tides are turning. 5 minutes. 5 minutes, we haven't seen any red candlestick yet. So the safe add here would be at 61.86. Wow. So that's it. We are out there. So a lot of, that's what you call short squeeze. A lot of shorts is here. We're part of that. And with the stop loss, got squeezed. So we gave back 500. So yeah, not a big deal. This is the short squeeze at its finest. A lot of shorts coming in, and we were part of that, and we got squeezed. Look at the volume bar. Now it's ready for a short. Let's look at the 5 minutes here. 63.68. 63.68. $62.87. Highest of this is 63.62. Yeah, it's not ready for a short. Look at how it's being bought at that 63. So being bought at 63. Now this one, what I don't like here is, you see how quick that squeeze in? So there could be more squeeze that can happen. So that's why I'm not going to be re-entering that trade. Tesla bouncing off of the VWAP here. Tesla bounced off the VWAP. All right, so I guess that's it. So yeah, we re-entered the trade. HIMS for a short, we gave back 500 there. PLTR was a solid trade with a 4,500, but we'll call it a day. Let's look at what SPY is doing now. SPY is now down by 0.1%. That's why we did not want to touch any of the options trade today, because that's SPY is not going anywhere. So that's why. All right, so for those of you who's asking on where to begin and how to day trade for a living, please feel free to check our website out. It's called ecourseunlocked.com, and in that website, you get to see what we're doing, our day trading strategy, the content that we get to discuss very thoroughly. And unlike any other day trading, online day trading class, what we do in our day trading course is to keep it simple. Keeping it simple, meaning you don't have to overcomplicate it. As what we have been mentioning before, all your indicators are lagging indicators. The only thing that's not lagging is your volume bar, you have the bid and the ask, you have the tape. So the only thing that's not lagging is the tape and the volume bar, because market maker cannot hide the tape as well as the volume bar. The rest of the indicators are late. They're lagging indicators. So no matter how much you put in moving average there, MACD, different, you can put as many indicators as you want, but this is what we call analysis paralysis. You will just miss the move, because by the time the move happens, you're still analyzing it because of making it so complicated. So, keep it simple and rinse and repeat. And that's why we do the things that we do. We have just our moving average, our VWAP, pre-market high, pre-market low, and we do it day in and day out. So we do live trading every Tuesday at 9:20 onwards, and then as soon as we make our day, we make our profits, then we turn off our computer and then move on. Moving on meaning we diversify our portfolio. So we do now real estate, we are into rental properties, and that's how you have to treat your day trading. It is a profit generator. Once you get those profit, you don't want to give it back to the market maker. They have so much money in their plate anyway, so don't contribute there. But diversify your portfolio by putting it into real estate, lower risk, and you have the appreciation and the depreciation with your taxes because of the building depreciates. So a lot of things that you can do, and aside from just looking at tick by tick of the charts, that's a total waste of time. So once you have a solid strategy, rinse and repeat that strategy, turn off your computer, and you have to diversify in a way that even when you're sleeping, you're making money. So that's just one tip there, because of course, being a day trader, you cannot still be a passive investor. Passive is through real estate. So I hope you guys got something out of this. Sorry, it's a longer run today, but yeah, I just wanted to encourage you guys to never give up on your dream. There is a steep learning curve in day trading, but once you get it, you get it. It's like riding a bike. It takes a while for you to ride a bike, but once you learn how to do it, then it's there for you now until whenever you would like to day trade. So thank you for watching. Please feel free to check our website out and see what's the latest and greatest, and why we are a big sucker for day trading, because you don't get to be stuck in your 9-to-5 job. You get to have the liberty to choose whatever you wanted to do with the rest of your time, just like what we did. We traded for like an hour or less. So now we are able to do much more with the remaining time. So with that, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again next Tuesday at 9:20 in the morning. Ciao. Isn't coming to an end. 24 hours now. Wish you could have more time so you can focus on what matters most. What would you do if you have more time in your hand? What would you do if money is not the driving force for you to work? What if you have to get up in the morning, not because you have to clock in at work? What if you have to roll out of your bed to do what you love to do? For instance, for you to travel, spend time with your loved one, follow your passion, maybe do a volunteer work. Did you ever dream of reclaiming more time in a day, or ever wanted to start your own business so you can experience more autonomy, not having to report to a boss, and having the liberty to make your own decision or your own schedule? And I am not talking about retirement. Every day, we get a fresh 24 hours to make that decision on how we would spend that 24 hours. Every day, we are in a crossroad. Our decision will determine our future. In day trading, you can reclaim more time from your day by cutting the working hours to less than 10 hours per week, so you can focus on what matters most. Because honestly, for some, that 10 hours is only their commute time per week to work. After all, we all have seen this ad before. So reclaim more time through day trading so you can focus on what matters most. After all, we are all in a borrowed time, so make it count. Click the link below to learn how to day trade for a living. My name is Mary, and I'm a day trader. So what do you value the most? Is it family? Is it your relationship? Is it health? Is it growth? Or maybe a status? Or maybe a popularity? Is it achievement? Or is it security? Is it fulfillment? Or is it a passion? Is it a relationship, adventure, being creative, being able to do what you want at your own terms, or just loving what you do, exploring the world, giving back, serving? Now the list can go on and on. What's the common denominator here? All of this require time. And if we will spend 90,000 hours at work, which is the average number of hours a person works in their lifetime, then who has the time to do all this? 24 hours in a day isn't coming to an end. 24 hours is all that we're going to get. Now, wish you could have more time so you can focus on what matters most. What would you do if you have more time in your hand? What would you do if money is not the driving force for you to work? What if you have to get up in the morning, not because you have to clock in at work? What if you have to roll out of your bed to do what you love to do? For instance, for you to travel, spend time with your loved one, follow your passion, maybe do a volunteer work. Did you ever dream of reclaiming more time in a day, or ever wanted to start your own business so you can experience more autonomy, not having to report to a boss, and having the liberty to make your own decision or your own schedule? And I am not talking about retirement. Every day, we get a fresh 24 hours to make that decision on how we would spend that 24 hours. Every day, we are in a crossroad. Our decision will determine our future. In day trading, you can reclaim more time from your day by cutting the working hours to less than 10 hours per week, so you can focus on what matters most. Because honestly, for some, that 10 hours is only their commute time per week to work. After all, we all have seen this ad before. So reclaim more time through day trading so you can focus on what matters most. After all, we are all in a borrowed time, so make it count. Click the link below to learn how to day trade for a living.